Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to set up the Logix program. So I've got my emulation. I'm going to now go to Studio 5000 app and we'll launch that. And this is going to do a new project. That's fine. We're going to do a Logix program and we got to find the controller we're going to use. We're going to use an emulate controller. Okay, so here's our emulate RSLogix emulate controller, and you can give this a name. I'm just going to call this simulation example. Okay, and then once again, you need to browse. If you have your USB drive here, you can go and you can browse and you can find that. But you'll notice that this wouldn't have your folders and stuff that are on your computer because this is set up to be a simulation. I'm going to go ahead and see if I don't know where I can save this actually. Mine's a little bit different than yours. I just I'd hit C or D or whatever, and I would save and hit OK. Okay, so let me just try that again. Next, I'm saving. So our revision is 24. That looks good. A 10 slot controller chassis, that's fine. And then we need to put the CPU. Remember, we put it in slot 2 right here. So I'll go into slot 2 and hit finish. Okay, and so this will go ahead and set up. I can pause the video for a minute here while this gets set up. Okay, so it's set up. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just resize my windows a little bit, just so that I can kind of move this in the corner up here, and I'll maybe drag this down here a little bit so I can see what's going on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and set up the I/O. That's what this video is about. So if I come down here and I notice that I've got an emulation example going, so I'm going to go my backplane. I'm going to add a new module. And what I'm going to put in is a 1756 module. It's a generic module. That's what we're going to put in, 1756 mod, and we're going to hit create. And so this is going to be sim inputs. That's what we're going to do for sim inputs. Our sim inputs were in slot 3. We are going to go ahead and we need to make these settings here for this to work. It's going to be input 1, and we're going to make this size 2, and then we're going to be output 2 and this 1, and then we're going to do configuration of 16 and 0. This is a little bit screwy the way that these get set up, but just trust me here. Based on the words, when this might be a little bit more apparent of why it is that way. So we're going to go OK, and it will launch the module properties. Because we're doing a simulation, we're going to change our requested packet interval size to 50, just so that this hopefully communicates with it. And then we'll click apply, and then we will click OK. All right. Now we're going to go ahead to our backplane again, and we are going to do a new module. And we're going to do a 1756 mod again. There's a generic one. Create. And this is going to be sim outputs. And that is going to be in slot 0, 1, 2, 3, slot 4 right there. So we'll pump that up to 4. And my input, once again, will be 1 and 2 and 2 and 1 and 16. And I'm going to go hit OK. And once again, I'm going to change my packet size up to 50. Okay, hit apply and OK. So we have our simulated inputs and outputs. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here and I'm going to look at my controller tags. My screen seems a little bit off, but let's click my controller tags. And you'll see in my controller tags that in slot 3, I have an input and output. In slot 4, I have an input and output and a C. So just remember, as we're addressing these, the data that we're using for 3 here is going to be the local 3 data, and you'll see that there's a couple of 32-bit words in here, but 3 is going to be our I's for inputs, and 4 is going to be our outputs. That's where our data is hidden there for or that's where our data for our output's there, and you see that you've got a word in there for that, a 32-bit word. Okay, so go ahead and set up your inputs and your outputs so that they match your simulation.